Before the intro starts, I just want to say this video was, well, recommended by Ostokun. If you guys have any recommendations for what ifs, you can join my Discord server, link in the description. Also check out Osto's Discord server, also link in the description. And yeah, just enjoy the video. Hello, you lovely cubs, and welcome to another video. Now, today we're doing a new what if. We're doing what if Izuku had a time clone quirk. Yes. Now, this was suggested to me by Ostokun, as you probably heard before the intro started. Shout out to him. Go check out, his Discord server. His link is in the description, everything like that. There's a few things that I want to say. First of all, we hit 1,000 subs, like way back, like 2 weeks ago, I know, and I did a stream for it. Now, there was going to come a what if for that, and that was this what if, but we've already hit 1,200, and we're on our way to 1,300, and we hit that fast, and I was like, whoa, okay, so this video is kind of the 1000 sub special part 2, but I'm not going to call it that. So just for you people who were questioning, oh wait, where's part 2 to the 1000 sub thing? That's this. Then also there's a few things. One, join the Discord, because now I'm going to change the Discord up. The Discord's going to be completely changed. I just finished my exams and all that. Now, I know this video was supposed to be on Sunday, and you all know it. You all hate me for it. I'm sorry, but it got delayed by a day, maybe even a bit more because editing and all that. And the reason for that is I fell asleep. I fell asleep while I should be editing, and well, yes, I woke up angry. And I had my last exam, which was today, or maybe to yesterday for the people who are already in Tuesday. But basically, yeah, Monday was my last exam, if you're from the future. And yeah, I finished. I thought, you know what, let's start what if content again. So I'm having a few what ifs. So before everybody here clicks off the video, which by now you probably have, let me talk a bit, alright? 1. Every series on my channel, and I mean everything, every single series that's a what if, will be either getting a remake or will be continuing. Now, what do I mean with that remake? I will remake them and make them actually good, not too overpowered. I make an actual story, and continuing, like the Renegon for Luffy, for example, that series, I'm continuing that. I don't know when. For example, I've seen a lot of you people ask for Tanjiro Rene Sharingan. I know it's been like a month or two now. That series will continue, but the earliest that I can promise you a new part is gonna be 2 weeks, because I need to rewatch all of my videos for that one, because I lost my scripts for that one, which means I lost my little little descriptions of the characters and their powers, so I'm gonna rewatch it. Unless one of you guys knows all their powers and wants to comment it in the thing, I'm gonna have to rewatch it, and that plus my other content that I'm working on now, because there's a lot more coming, believe me. It's gonna take a while. Now, recently, the channel got monetized. Now, what does that mean for the channel? I'm gonna... how should I explain this? Like, all of the money that I get from the channel is going to be put back into the channel. So one, like my gaming equipment, or well, my streaming / recording equipment, all of that is going to go all back in there. It's going to be for, just getting the better setup so that eventually we can do streams where I play a game and it's not like 6 FPS, or I do a stream and I can do what if better with a better microphone or something like that. Also, giveaways. I am gonna start doing giveaways. I think when I reach a milestone, I'll think about doing a giveaway or just doing a what if special for it, or just a special in general. but giveaways are going to be a thing. I'm already giving away Robux on my Roblox group, which if you play Roblox and you want maybe some free Robux, join the group. Recently, the group got, verified to be allowed to pay, so that's very good. So I can now give out Robux to you guys. I've already repaid a guy who bought my 2 bad t-shirts. I'm sorry that you bought those. Those were test t-shirts and you actually bought them, you madman. I refunded him, so thanks to him for buying those anyway. They were bad. Alright. So, there's a few more things. Jesus Christ, I'm going through a lot. It's been a while, so it's like I need to go through these things. Sorry, people. Patience. I'm starting a guild/clan thing. Now, what this will be is this will be a what if community gathering. So the guild members can be any kind of YouTuber. So I'll be the guild master, of course, because I created it. And what will happen is basically any other YouTuber who wants to join can join the guild. And how I'm gonna kind of do is just like, let's say Noah joins, he'll be like Vice Guild Master then, because he's awesome. Right, and I get a few other YouTubers every like Sunday or something. We come together and we play like a random game or something that we can record or that we can stream. So we'll do that, and then that's a kind of way for us to give back, because like we could all record it or stream it on our separate channels, and then we can all get our own footage out of it. Now, I'm still thinking about this idea, but anyway, the clan thing, you're all part of the clan. It's the cup thing. Like I said, I'm gonna remake the Discord server. That doesn't mean it's gonna be a new Discord server. It's still gonna be the same one, but there's gonna be a day when there's no categories, no channels, nothing, and that's because I'm gonna remake it completely. And what does that mean? The clan thing is there's gonna be new ranks, and you'll all see it. It will have names and stuff like that, and all the descriptions are gonna be in the thing. So that's for the people who've been with my channel for a while. So then what's gonna happen is a lot of what ifs are gonna get pumped out. I'm thinking of this week, the week where this what if is gonna be posted. There might be 2 more what ifs coming out, but next week there's gonna be 3 or 4, maybe even more. I'm gonna pump a lot of what ifs out, a lot of good what ifs too, a lot of new series, but also some old ones. Even my oldest what if series, which I don't know if that was the Izuku, but spoiler, the Izuku with the storage quirk is gonna get a remake, but it's gonna be different. It's gonna be a dimensional quirk kind of thing. Now, I think I've babbled on enough. If I'm gonna do an information video, I'm gonna do it separate, because I think this is already like 6 minutes of me talking about the thing. So let's jump into the what if, shall we? One day at kindergarten, Bakugo is showing off his quirk to everyone. He had just awakened it, and everybody was in amazement to his power, or well, to his overall quirk power. The teachers were telling him that he could become an amazing hero, and in the corner, there was just this glare, this jealousy. It's Izuku. He was just looking at Bakugo like, thinking to himself, I wish I had a quirk like that. I wish I was powerful too. I want to be called a hero. The boy let it slide, thinking not too much of it, since he might still get a quirk. He might still get a power. Now, Bakugo got picked up by his parents, and he got taken to the quirk doctor, where they did a full examination of his quirk. The next few weeks, Bakugo started being colder to everyone, even Izuku, starting to treat them kind of like lower people, as if they were nothing towards him. Get out of my way, he said to one of the children, pushing them over and hurting them actually. The caretakers would come up to Bakugo and say he's not allowed to do that, but yet he still thinks he would be superior to them, but he would let it drop since he didn't want to make too much trouble yet. Now, a few weeks pass, and actually 4 months pass, and Izuku still hasn't awakened his quirk, and everybody's bullying him for it, even Bakugo, who started to dislike him, who He even distanced himself from Izuku. Now Izuku is in quite distress because everybody is looking down on him and he just wants to become a hero. So he's been thinking to himself a lot, thinking of how he just wants a friend, or just maybe a clone of himself, or anything really. The following day, Izuku would follow Bakugo again. He would follow Bakugo to this park where Bakugo would meet up with two of his friends. As they start bullying this kid, all three of them, Izuku just steps in and says, "Stop it, Kachan! You're hurting him!" "What do you want, Deku?" Bakugo said in a demeaning tone, kind of just looking at the boy, thinking, what is he doing? But Izuku didn't let it slide. He said, "If you hurt him, then I'll stop you myself." Bakugo would laugh at this, saying, "You and what army?" But then all of a sudden, a second voice would say, "You mean, we will stop him, right?" As Izuku would look to his left, he would see a perfect clone of himself. Maybe one that even had his clothes on. He was so confused, but then he realized that it was him. It was him from yesterday, wearing the clothes he was wearing yesterday. Bakugo would look at this and be amazed, as Izuku would just think, "I awakened my quirk." Bakugo would still attack, but the two Izukus would kind of just counterattack, not really putting much force behind it, but overpowering Bakugo just by the sheer number of them, as three of them actually attacked Bakugo. Now, a police officer did see this, and, using your quirk in public is still against the law. So he decides to not apprehend the boys, but stop their fight at least. As he asks them where they live, he brings Izuku home and tells Inko about how three of him attacked Bakugo. Now Inko does not believe her ears as she says, "Izuku, what did you do?" As Izuku would just stand there with a sparkle in his eye and say, "I awakened my quirk, Mom." Now Inko would be so happy, but at the same time she couldn't show it because of the police officer. So she took her son to the quirk doctor, who does a full examination of his quirk. "It seems your boy's quirk. It works on time, but it makes a clone of him. Or, well, it's very confusing to explain, but let's say there's an alternate dimension or a second Earth," the doctor would say. Kind of just losing Izuku in the process, who's still fanboying about his own quirk. "Let's say there's another universe, or another world, let's say it like that for young Izuku. And there's an Izuku in that world, but it's from yesterday. And that world moves the same way our world does, so all the events still happen like in our world. Izuku can somehow grab that version of himself and make a copy of it and bring it to our world, which doesn't affect the original timeline, but it's still grabbing his own clone from a different time, which then interprets that he can get himself from any past version." Now, Inko is confused by this, and they still run some more tests after that, because Inko does not get it at all, and Izuku just doesn't know what's happening. After they run some more tests, they actually figure out that Izuku has a limit to when he can get him. The entire quirk just gets explained to Inko, but if you guys want to know what I mean by that, you'll have to stick around by the end of the video, where I kind of give more of an insight to it. Anyway, continuing. Inko and Izuku are walking home, but they see Bakugo and his mother stand there. Now, his mother apologizes for what happened because, of course, Bakugo initiated it. And Bakugo is just curious about Izuku's quirk, since he got quite of a taste of it already. Now The next day at kindergarten, Izuku is surrounded by people who heard about the fight, and they want to know about his quirk. Now, he makes a clone of himself, but it's the clone from yesterday, right before he went to bed. So it's in his pajamas, which is an All Might pajama. So everybody just laughs at him and calls him weird for having it, but some people are kind of resonating with that because of their shared love for All Might. Now, Bakugo is still confused about why Izuku has such a quirk and how it works. So Bakugo starts hanging out with Izuku more, not as friends, but more as a kind of rival / companionship. They start training because Izuku thinks that he should really just start training. Now, this isn't anything hard, this is literally just them playing, but them thinking it's training, but they're just playing. A few years pass by with the same happening, and I'd say that Izuku is now 9 years old. And at 9 years old, he really starts training. He's not the same kid anymore, he's training. He wants to become physically stronger so that his clones actually do some damage, and he wants to be able to actually put up a fight. Now, he can make 3 clones of himself, and the way how his clone quirk now kind of works is if his past clone learns something and then goes back to the past, he will have that past clone's knowledge. But it's kind of weird. I'll explain more of it later on as we go through it. Now, Izuku is still, a big All Might fan. He thinks that how All Might fights is amazing, and he actually asks his mom something. One morning, he goes downstairs and he asks his mom, "Hey mom, can I join a fighting club?" Now, Inko is against it, but Izuku kind of phrased it wrong. He meant to say if he could pick up a fighting sport. Now, Inko eventually does let him pick up a fighting sport, but only at the age of 10, so we won't be seeing any of it yet. Now, Bakugo also kind of trains, not at all hard, but just to, he lets off a few explosions every day, just to make his resistance a bit harder. Now, he is 9 years old, so it's not like he can blast off like UA yet, he just is able to create small blasts. Now, him and Izuku have become friends. They hang out every day after school, and they go to this forest one day, where Izuku finds this weird headband thingy, almost. And he takes it home, and he shows his mom, who says, "Oh, that's from way in the past. I don't know how you got one in such a good condition, and you said it was out in the forest, right?" Inko asked. And Izuku says yes. Now, Inko puts it on the wall, and she says that it's a band from an old village called Konoha. But that the powers and stuff like that have nothing to do with quirks that they had, and it's really just a very old type of fighting style that they used. Now, Izuku's confused by this, and thus his mom decides that it's best that maybe he picks up that specific fighting style. Now, Izuku does go to that fighting school at the age of 10, and when he gets there, they basically talk about this ninjutsu things, and he's so confused by it. But what it actually is, it's just all quirk factor that just gets used to kind of summon this energy, and then with that energy you can either create water, heat, air, or earth. And Izuku kind of quickly learns this. It has nothing to do really with ninjutsu or chakra, it's just all quirk factor. So, it's not the Konoha you're thinking of. It's a separate universe that I'm writing. Shh. Now, anyway, Izuku continues on his training, and he actually learns taijutsu, or well, just normal combat, and he learns it to the point where he's quite good at it. Now, we'll just skip 3-4 years. We'll skip 4 years, so he's at the age of 14 now. Now, Izuku is just in class, and the teacher's talking about future plans, and he says, right, well, there's no real point in you guys choosing anything. I know you all want to be heroes. He says this while throwing up the papers, while everybody shows off their quirk. Now, Bakugo does get angry and says, Teach, you can't lump me and Izuku in with these bunch of idiots. I mean, half of them have half-rated quirks. I mean, have you seen this dude over here? He has literally eyeballs that come out of his eyes. Or, well, that sounds bad. I mean, his eyeballs just come out of his eye sockets and he looks like a snail. How can that be useful as a hero? Now, everybody just kind of gets mad at Bakugo and Izuku, even though Izuku hasn't said anything. And at this point, Izuku is quite strong. He can make 6 clones of himself, all from different points in his life, up until he was 4 years old, of course. And he can also kind of just do a lot. Now, Izuku kind of cheated a lot. Not in maths or anything, but he would just learn something and then he would summon a clone from his past self and teach that clone something. So by the time he was 10, he was already knowledgeable about every subject there ever was. So he could basically do a lot on his own. By the time he was 14, he would be probably equal to a supercomputer. Not really, but he's quite smart is what I'm trying to say. Now, he was like, well, the probability of you all getting into UA is very slim, or in any hero school to be honest. I'd say you all have about a 5% chance at best. Some of you just have a 0% chance to be honest. And, well, me and Bakugo do have a high percentage of chance of getting in. Our quirks are quite good. I'd say we have both 80% chance and a 99% chance of getting in. With him being the 80 and Bakugo being the 99. Now, Bakugo knew that Izuku was lying about the 80 and he knew that Izuku was probably at 100%. Now, Izuku does decide to take a shortcut home because he didn't feel like hanging out with Bakugo that day. And he does go under the bridge. We all know what bridge. As a slime monster just jumps out and attacks him. Now, he dodges the first one, but he gets caught the second one anyway, which he just summons 3 clones to try and get the goop off, but they can't really do anything, which just ends up making the slime monster, or the sludge monster, attack him more. Now, All Might does save the boy, but, this time, Izuku takes a bit longer to wake up. Because he summoned the clones, the sludge monster tried to take his body way quicker, so he's a bit of a comatose state more. Now, All Might is about to jump off right when Izuku wakes up, but Izuku sees All Might and instantly latches onto his leg, since he had no time to ask anything. Now, they do land on the roof again because All Might doesn't want to kill Izuku by pushing him off, and Izuku just asks the famous words of, "Can I be a hero, even with a quirk as useless as mine?" Now, All Might asks what Izuku's quirk is, and Izuku basically just explains, "Well, my quirk just lets me make a clone of myself, but it's from a different... It's kind of like this copy of a clone from a different dimension, which then gets summoned to our dimension, but if it goes back, then it will rewrite my entire past. So if I summon myself from when I was 4 years old, and I teach myself from 4 years old something, I can become very powerful very quick because I can hone that skill for years." All Might is kind of just impressed by this, and by this quirk and this power, and he says, "Young man, I think you can become a great hero. You might even be able to become number 2 or number 1 one day with that kind of power. As long as you keep improving on it, we shall see." Now, All Might doesn't jump off, he becomes small right after saying that, and Izuku is kind of panicked, and this is when All Might explains his injury, about 5 years ago, when he got that scar, or when his stomach got destroyed. Now, Izuku tells All Might that he shall not tell it to anyone, and All Might just leaves. Now Izuku's kind of dazzled there, being kind of like, I'm so glad that my hero that I admire so much admits of me. So he does walk off, well, not walk off, but he gets off the roof, but he sees this explosion and curiosity gets the better of him as he goes towards it. Now, he gets there and there's this big crowd looking at this fire as a bunch of heroes are grouped together trying to fight this one monster. Now, Izuku looks and he sees the slime villain. He says, "Oh God, someone is suffering from that sludge monster because I leached onto All Might's leg. What have I done?" Now, he sees that it's Kachan, and without thinking, he just starts running towards him, summoning all of his clones, making 7 people attack the sludge villain at once. Now, he's able to get Kachan free to kind of breathe, and the moment Kachan breathes, he tells Izuku to run. But All Might gets inspired by Izuku and jumps in to help. And this is when All Might, smashes the villain, saving both Izuku and Bakugo. Izuku doesn't get scolded too badly since he was able to kind of help Bakugo, but he still gets scolded at, to be honest. And he still goes home kind of grumpy. Now Bakugo doesn't tell Izuku thank you, because, they're friends, they know that if they help each other, they can just kind of let it slide. Now, Izuku does get stopped by All Might, and All Might does tell Izuku that he wants Izuku to become his successor. And since Izuku kind of already has the body to hold One for All Might says, "Alright, I will give you my quirk." Now, Izuku gets confused by this and says, "What do you mean, give me your quirk? How would that work?" And All Might would reply by saying, "My quirk was passed on to me by someone. It's called One for All, and it will get stronger the more it gets passed on, but I trust you with this power. Will you take it?" Izuku says that he needs to think about it, and they exchange contact information. Now, that night, Izuku just can't sleep, so he summons all 6 of his clones to think about it, and he comes to the conclusion that he should actually take it, since his quirk isn't all that flashy, and if he can summon 6 clones with One for All, he could stop any villain right in their tracks. So he decides to take it and messages All Might. Now, All Might, still awake, messages him back to meet him at the beach the next day. Izuku gets to the beach the next day after eating breakfast and talking to his mom about doing some training, and he gets to All Might. And he talks to All Might, who says, "Alright, I will give you my quirk, and the first step in your training is to just get rid of all this garbage on the beach." Now, Izuku looks at the beach and says, "That's it?" And All Might says, "Without the use of your quirk." Now, Izuku is thinking, what do you mean? All Might says, "You shall not use your clone quirk, and you shall try to channel One for All throughout your entire body, and use that to get rid of the garbage." Now, All Might transfers over One for All, and they wait 2 hours because, of course, it needs to kick in. And after 2 hours pass, Izuku just feels this jolt of power as his arm starts glowing. Now, All Might says that Izuku should be able to hold up to 30% safely and go up to maybe 35 if he really needs it. But that any further than that should be tried and gotten not tried. Now, Izuku asks All Might if he can summon 6 clones from the same time, and if he can use that to kind of train his One for All, because 6 would be better than 1. Now, All Might approves of this, even though he said that he wasn't allowed to use his clones. So Izuku summons 6 clones who all start using One for All throughout their entire body, And Izuku kind of just picks up full cowling right off the bat, since his quirk was always active, so he never had to switch it on or off in the first place. There was no reason for him to not know about full cowl right off the bat. So he learns full cowl right off the bat, and using his 6 clones, he cleans up the trash on the beach in 3 hours, which surprises All Might quite quickly because there was only 6 of them. Now they were using one for all. All Might says that for the next 9 months, they will be training on the beach together by sparring and even by other heroes, inviting other heroes, I mean. So Izuku starts training with All Might for the next 9 months, and I'm just gonna make a very short summary of it since I always go over these training arcs way too much. He basically trains for the first 3 months with All Might until he masters fighting All Might. He goes up to 40% by doing this, and then for the rest of the time he just focuses on his actual clone quirk, because All Might doesn't have the time to train Izuku anymore since he has all of this stuff at UA to take care of. Now in the original he doesn't, but in this one he does, because, you know, he wants to get ahead of things now that his successor is actually a bit competent. So after 9 months, Izuku enters UA. Now, he can summon 12 clones, so he's doubled his clone amount in 6 months, and he can go up to 40% of one for all, 45 if he pushes it, but that will hurt him, and if he goes above 45, then he'll break his, well, not break completely, but he'll start damaging his bones and arms. Now, he walks into UA. He doesn't fall over because he's a beast, and he does have a talk with Bakugo, and while he's having a talk with Bakugo, this girl comes up to him, saying, "Hello, my name is Ochaku Uraraka, and I'm just really nervous and wanted to talk to someone, so I wish you good luck." And she just runs off. Now, Izuku just stands there, kind of blushing because he hasn't talked to many girls in his life. And it depends, he says, "Alright, well, that went well, even though Bakugo says that he's an idiot." They enter the building, and they find out where the hall is where they need to meet. So they all sit down, but Izuku didn't realize that All Might actually got him a recommendation into UA, which actually worked because Nezu allowed it, and since it was the #1 hero saying, okay, this person needs to get into UA, they allowed it, but Izuku didn't know, so he partook in the, in the test anyway, since he just followed where Bakugo was going with his sheet of paper. Now, President Mike explains everything about the bots and everything like that, but the big bot is now apparently a 4-pointer. So if you beat the big bot, then you get 4 points, but President Mike does say that they are a hindrance and that you should just avoid them. Now, Izuku, he goes on to this bus, which brings him to Site B. When he gets there, he meets this guy with glasses, who didn't say anything in the hall because Izuku's way more he's way more confident and he's not gonna mumble as much. And he gets approached by this guy with glasses and he says, "Everybody here has quite a noticeable quirk besides you. So..." Now Izuku just says, "Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you what my quirk is, I'm not that dumb." Now, Ida takes this kind of as an insult, so he says, You know what? I'll let that one slide for now, but you can't talk to people like that." Now, Izuku isn't trying to be arrogant, he's just a bit stressed, but not as much as in canon. And President Mike just shouts to go because there's no actual timer in real battles, and they just all run off. Now, Izuku activates one for all, I'd say about 30%, and he's keeping up quite well with Ida. Now, he sends out 6 of his clones, and they spread out, and I'd say halfway through the thing, he's already sitting at a good 200 points. And he has a lot of rescue points as well because his clones keep helping people. That's what he told them to do. Now, this is when they bring out the big robots. Now, everybody kind of just ignores the big robots because they're armed with very big weapons that could harm them. So they just run away. And Izuku just decides to stay, but he sees this girl who's struggling as he sends 2 of his clones to help the girl, while the rest just attack the robot, as they use a combo of attacks to just dismantle the robot. The 5 of them used a combo that was just hopping from building to building while attacking the robot at 40% one for all, and it ended up breaking through one of its circuits board, which shut it down, making it fall over backwards, crushing a lot of the city, but still saving Uraraka in the process. Now, President Mike shouts at this time that the test is over, and Uraraka is kind of like stressed out that she didn't make it because of her lack of points. So Izuku decides to just hand her over to Recovery Girl and just kind of just blitzes away as he goes to the teacher's office because he met a lot of the teachers already because of All Might, and he asks if he can transfer some of his points to the girl that he was with. Nezu allows it, and Nezu transfers about 30 of his points to the girl, which makes Uraraka actually have a pretty high score. But before you guys get the results, I'm gonna cut it off here. Aha! Cliffhanger. Even though you all probably know that he's gonna make it into UA, and what's gonna happen next. Now, okay, I know that there's this thing going around and that there's these YouTubers that are trying to get other what if YouTubers away because of their 18 plus thing. I'm not going to go into 18 plus anymore. I am going to do ships because cuddling and, kissing is nothing wrong with, So if you guys want a ship, who would you want Izuku to ship with? Anybody from 1A? No. A female, because I know that there's gonna be people who are gonna say ship him with Bakugo. No, we're not doing that. We're gonna ship him with a female because it's my boy. And yeah. If you guys want me to make a detailed video about how his quirk actually works, because I know I've mentioned it here for a bit, I can't really go into it fully without giving away massive spoilers. Now, I did go over how he learned taijutsu and Naruto. This is not a Naruto x My Hero Academia what if. The time clone quirk was based on Naruto, so that's why it was based on Naruto combined with just a time thing. So yeah, I got it from Osto, but when I heard clone, I thought Naruto, and then I thought, okay, time. Okay, we're gonna have a little Naruto thing in there. It's not Naruto based, so I just want to say that. The quirk works a lot like the Naruto thing, it's just way different. There's a lot of abilities that you guys are going to hear of that are quite OP, but that he's not got yet. Now, I did a little headbat thing, because why not? I thought it sounded cool. So, okay. Do you guys want me to add any powers or anything or any cool things to this series? Leave it down below. I'm kind of lacking a few aspects to it. But for now, I think this is where we're gonna end it. I know I made some mistakes in this video. This is literally like my third recording of it, so I didn't feel like doing it again. And yeah, with that out of the way, I hope you cubs have a lovely day. Like and subscribe, and if you're new here, definitely subscribe. I upload content like this, and if you like it, then you should probably like. I'm gonna do a stream on Sunday with other YouTubers. I'm gonna ask them. I gotta ask them first, but look out for that because that's gonna be very special. We're gonna be playing Among Us, and we're gonna be playing a new thing that I think I invented because I don't think it exists yet. If it does, then I'm sorry for whoever made it. And then with that out of the way, like, subscribe, and join the Discord. Check out Osto's Discord. I would recommend being 18 when you join his Discord. And yeah. Have a nice day, you cups. Subscribe for more!